Namaste. The time has come to pay more for the big TV you plan to buy to watch the Cricket World Cup and the air conditioner you plan to buy to ease the heat wave in your city. The continuation of the Red Sea crisis will make all those white goods and any other appliances you plan to buy more costly. The Red Sea shipping crisis is escalating daily, becoming a massive storm. Although it is not yet reached the level of the COVID-19 shipping crisis, it is not far off. The future impact was anticipated a few months ago, but the scale of the crisis was unpredictable. Carriers and logistic experts are predicting that the crisis and the resultant price surge will go on till Q3 or the peak season, or at least up to October. But no one can predict or evaluate with accuracy on the ripple effect any crisis brings in. Here is a brief overview of the contributing factors and their impact. The global shortage of shipping containers, thanks to the cut and run port omission, has created a situation where there simply aren't enough containers to meet current needs. Containers are piled up in Colombo, the Upper Gulf and many other places for multiple reasons, such as vessel omitting codes to those ports for empty movement out to where they are needed. The addition of 10 days to 2 weeks transit time to reach Europe from Asia due to the avoidance of Suez Canal has resulted in carriers calling at one or two ports instead of all major ports in Europe to save transit time. This inability to carry out the empties result in container shortages worldwide. The disruptions arising due to port omissions and congestions are causing major issues, and containers are barely arriving in China or Asia for loading. The second factor compounding this issue is the ongoing conflict in the Red Sea. The vital waterway, a crucial link between Asia and Europe, has seen increased tension and disruptions to shipping routes. To avoid the affected regions, vessels are forced to take longer detours around Africa, significantly adding to travel time and transportation cost. The transit time has increased by 30 to 35% in all vessel voyages from China and Asia, resulting in lower capacity to carry containers. The combined effect of these logistical challenges is pushing up freight rates from China and Asia to India, Europe and the US. The crisis has led carriers to invoke force majeure clauses and cancel rate contracts. Trade routes like China to Indian ports have already gone up by 2 to 3 times increase in the past few weeks alone. The scarcity of space, container shortage and congestion have driven up freight costs significantly, particularly for routes originating in China, a major manufacturing hub. With no space available for the next 2 months, it's expected that the freight rates will increase further in the coming week before stabilizing. For example, the spot rate from Shanghai to Rotterdam has hit $6,000 to $7,000 for a 40-footer on spot rate basis, and carriers are saying this will hit $10,000 soon. Carriers have announced many blank sailings in June, leading to a capacity reduction of 15 to 20%. Since 2 weeks of transit is added to the voyage, the requirement for any voyages, which normally take 55 to 60 days for Asia to Europe, increases to 75 days. This means 2 additional vessels will be required to run this as a weekly service, which is not available, leading to blank sailings. The erratic port calls and delays have resulted in severe port congestion forming in major port. As of today, the berthing delay at Singapore is 7 days, which means 500,000 containers is waiting to get berthed at Singapore. Some carriers have started to avoid Singapore calls to maintain the transit time, but this will only escalate the problems in downstream ports. Other major ports across Asia and China is facing similar conditions. The increased investment in cost have led to increased working capital requirements for freight forwarders and importers, disrupting cash flows. The fund investment for regular operation have gone up by 3 to 4 times, and the delays in transit makes the cash flow situation tighter. Inflation in logistic costs and delays will cripple manufacturers. The logistic cost escalation for manufacturers has increased by 3 to 4 times in the past 45 days, and beyond a certain period, absorbing these costs will be impossible. Companies importing white goods and appliances are faced with steeper freight bills, which they are likely to pass on to consumers in the form of higher prices. This would result in a price increase of 2 to 5% for all white goods. Unfortunately, the timeline for resolving these challenges remains uncertain. The container shortages show no signs of immediate improvement, and the Red Sea conflict remains unresolved. The uncertainty makes it difficult to predict when prices might stabilize for importers and consumers. In response to this logjam in logistics, companies might explore alternative solutions. Diversifying sourcing route or consolidating shipments to maximize container space could offer some relief. However, such solutions aren't foolproof, and the consumers should be prepared for a continued period of higher logistic costs for all imports and higher prices for consumers. For now, a confluence of logistical hurdles, the container shortage and the Red Sea crisis is creating a global ripple effect, impacting the prices of everyday appliances. As consumers navigate these price increases, the path towards a smoother flow of cargo remains uncertain, heavily dependent on quickly finding sustainable solution to this ongoing obsession to smooth logistics. Thank you for watching, and do share with others who would like to know more about the current update on Red Sea crisis. See you next week.